the vent sounds the animatronics make are extremely quiet, and they can very easily sneak up while you're in an advertising task. Even though FNAF 6 was bad, we were starting to wonder if FNAF 3 was even really a good choice here. 6 seemed to be a minor flop, but FNAF 3 was a straight up wall. Even with the FGP, there's still a good bit of RNG in FNAF 3. You see, in order for the FGP strategy to work, you not only need to flip fast and package to work to get reasonably lucky, but also you have to get rid of fancy threats. Prince and Freddy work on these vital twice in FNAF 3. When they appear, they are not on the monitor or maintenance panel for around 3 seconds. Since we're stalling out spring traps for roughly 10 seconds at a time, this would mess up our stalling of the you are able to get rid of any animatronic jump scares you in FNAF. They won't show up for the rest of the night. So, basically, Freddy jump scares will be able to stall out much longer. The only problem with this is that Phantom Freddy's stalling is RNG. At level 6, he has a 7-12 chance to do so on every hour change and a forced spawn at 4 AM. For this reason, some people will be too far into the night to be able to comfortably take a Phantom jump scare, as getting jump scared by a Phantom causes Springtrap to be teleported forward. Point being, even with FGP, FNAF 3 was starting to be a literal nightmare. Regardless of where we put it in the order, we had been playing for an hour and still hadn't gotten one single FNAF 3 win. It was so bad, in fact, that we were even considering putting it first in the order.
See, bro? FGP doesn't matter. Like, we should not be able to.
Dude, since when was FGP this hard?
See, the idea, like, honestly.
So, FNAF 3 was first. In theory, the most based game out the way, right away, we should be able to actually
you dodge passes?
I might have to. I'm so minus 7 points, I can't play it long anymore.
As per classic FNAF long tradition, there's always some complete nonsense that happens in FNAF 2.
A veces, los equipos de marketing se sienten desesperados, estancados en search y social con un crecimiento limitado. Experimenta crecimiento consciente. Realize resultados a escala, más allá de search y social.
Tener tu hogar protegido. Sí, por supuesto. Pues yo no sé. Y si quieres y elegía la cobertura de protección por ocupación ciega del seguro. Y tanto fuera preocupaciones. Llama o ven directo a linedirecta.com.
But this time, man, you really can't make this work. Okay, so what happened here? Well, to understand that, we first have to understand the strategy that I was using for FNAF 2. And you see, in the original FNAF, I used a strategy made by Shooter25, which was reasonably consistent, but it was improved upon greatly by my partner in this challenge, Raven. The core discovery that made the grading strategy possible has to do with Golden Freddy. You see, for all previous FNAF 2 strategies, the basic idea was this. You flash Foxy in the hallway right before you went into the cameras, then wind over a 5 or 10-second interval within the cameras, then drop the cameras, do a back in the office, camp the right vent, and repeat. The problem with this strategy is that it didn't really account for Toy Bonnie's RNG based on the event that doesn't leave. You'd see him pretty often, and a lot of the time you didn't have a completely full box when faced with him. So given bad enough RNG, you would lose. The brain strat needs to fix this problem, or at least make it a bit better. You see, the previous strategies, we could only wind for about 7 ticks of the music box, or roughly 3.5 seconds. If we were to wind any longer, we could open the cameras earlier. And without getting too technical here, that would allow enough time for Foxy's kill timer to count up far enough for the kill equation to be true. Once this equation is true, at the next 5-second interval, it gets checked. If it happens to pass this check, then Foxy is flagged as got you, and will jump straight the next time you pass the hallway, or on the next 10-second interval when a blackout isn't happening. As long as we're able to flash Foxy before this 5-second interval, we should be okay. The problem was that we didn't have a way to optimize our flash times, unless there was some way to flash the hallway right before that 5-second interval. And this was where it all came together, and that small detail about Golden Freddy's spawn made all the difference. You might have forgotten what the Freddy does in that code, as oftentimes other characters are the main focus here. He's pretty simple. Once he spawns, the mask on and he goes away. Flash the flashlight and you die. This is why whenever you see 20 mode, they always slam the mask on right away after dropping the cameras. I did too. Golden Freddy is there before launching Foxy in the hallway. But if we knew for absolute certainty that Golden Freddy wasn't going to be there, we could flash right away when it comes to cameras. And this is how the braiding strat works. By pulling up the cameras right after a 5-second interval and winding until the very end of that interval, dropping the cameras roughly half a second early, you can hold the your flash through the blackout. This is Foxy right before the 5-second interval, which doesn't give you a chance to finish the equation. Completely safe. And the music box wound for a full extra second. But the braiding strat doesn't just completely destroy one of the 1020's most challenging animatronics, it gets both of them. By keeping the mask on until the next 5-second interval once you drop the cameras, Meggle, Toy Chica, and Blue Boy will never appear in the vent, meaning we only have to worry about Toy Bonnie. Now, once the blackout is done, go over and hold the right vent light. If Toy Bonnie isn't already there, this will stall the movement into the vent. Basically, once Toy Bonnie is on the camera right before the vent opening, he has a 500 and he gets dropped down. If you happen to have the vent light reaching 0, Toy Bonnie is and unable to move into the vent opening. Because this counter is 500 frames, it will always reach 0 on the intervals of 3.33 or 8.33. So as long as you have the light on over this interval, it will stop. The reason that this is important is it will now always force Toy Bonnie to enter the vent while a blackout is happening, which gives him a 1 in 3 chance to leave on his own every second. Essentially, all of these strategies combined make FNAF 2 consistently more consistent by dealing with both Foxy and Toy Bonnie, and ensuring that you don't have to deal with the Toy Bonnie attack. If you play perfectly up to this point, you'll have a full music box to deal with them, and you'll be able to survive some pretty crazy events. So, with a little bit of background, we can finally talk about the dumbest death in FNAF 2, Part 2. It must be a FNAF 1 tradition at this point. I remember this was a lot of people's favorite part of the first FNAF launch video, so why not explain how every possible dumb quirk that the game has aligned perfectly to screw over my run once again. So, why did this happen? Well, this was a combination of me just not paying attention, but also with some insane bad luck and weird quirks in FNAF 2's code. We just talked about how important Golden Freddy is for this strategy, but that was just one of Golden Freddy's 2 possible positions. Golden Freddy can also appear in the hallway, appearing as just his head. In this state, if Golden Freddy has the flashlight on him for 100 total frames, he'll jump out and jump scare you. Golden Freddy can only appear in the hallway when no one else is there, which is why you usually only see him in this position at the very beginning of the night, as on 1020 mode, it's extremely rare that no one is ever in the hallway at any given